let's settle ourselves in a seated posture, like this, on the floor if you care to, or on a chair. And just experience the body sitting here, however it is. And just do something comfortable with the arms and the hands, whatever your body tells you is best for right now. And let's bring awareness to the fact that we're breathing as we sit here. Once again, dropping in and riding moment by moment by moment on the waves of the breath, this breath coming in and this breath leaving the body. I'd like to now invite you to picture in your mind's eye, and it may be very helpful to have your eyes closed for this, to picture in your mind's eye a mountain. Maybe a mountain that you know and love and have seen or have climbed or live near, or one that you've only seen in pictures. And it might be a favorite, or it might just come to mind at this moment. Or imagining a mountain, if you care to. But in your mind's eye, seeing if you can allow it to become vivid and stable. And noticing its features. How it rises up out of the earth. How it has gently or steeply sloping sides. Its lofty peak or mesa-like, top if it's a flat expanse. Perhaps the peak is covered with snow. Perhaps it's forested on the lower elevations. But seeing it from a far enough distance in your mind's eye so that you can see the entirety of the mountain against the sky. And maybe it has multiple peaks. It was part of a mountain range. Whatever you're experiencing inwardly as you invite this image in. And now, as best you can, without forcing anything, seeing if you can actually bring the image of this mountain to coincide with the felt sense of your body sitting here, so that you actually become the mountain. And your stable base is the stable base of the mountain rooted in the crust of the earth. And your arms and sides and shoulders and neck are all the various angles of the sides of the mountain. And your neck and head are the lofty peak. And just sitting here as the mountain. No separation. in your mind's eye, feeling the rootedness to the earth. The grounding. The rock-like solidity of the base of the mountain. And feeling that solidity and stability in all the areas of your body that are supporting your sitting. And then feeling the gently sloping or steeply sloping sides of the mountain and the shoulders until you are at the lofty peak in the head. And one of the virtues of the peak, of course, is that on a clear day, the perspective is panoramic in all directions. And seeing if you can actually feel that as we sit here, that you are the mountain, and on a clear day, in this moment, you have that vast, inclusive, spacious, open perspective. In all directions. And that you're completely at home. You completely belong. Right here, rooted to your cushion, stable in your body, and even with your eyes closed, the vast panorama of awareness itself, boundless, sky-like, extending out forever. Now, as the mountain sits, being itself, of course, in every moment, the sun is moving across the sky. And so the light and the shadows are constantly changing. And the mountain actually looks different from moment to moment and from hour to hour. And of course, as the mountain sits, night follows day. The sun sets. On a clear night, stars emerge, perhaps the moon. And through it all, the mountain just sits, being itself. Outside of time, in this present moment we call now. Just being itself. And just as night follows day and day follows night, the mountain sits through all the seasons of the year. In spring, things warm up, the snows in the upper regions start to melt. The streamlets and brooks and rivers start to flow more and more. Flowers emerge in the lower meadows and the higher meadows. The deciduous trees grow more leaves. The snows at the upper peak start to melt. And the sun shines down on many cloudless days on the mountain. And through it all, the mountain just sits, being itself. As the season moves into summer, things get hotter. The bird life and all the animal life gets more active. Colors changing. The snow may be all gone or only in certain areas depending on their elevation and how much they are shadowed. And through it all, the mountain just sits. Day and night, on clear days and not such clear days. And sometimes the mountain can be enshrouded with fog or mist. Tourists may come and are disappointed because they can't see the mountain at all, or it doesn't look the way it does in the postcards. The mountain could care less. It just sits, being its essential self. And after the summer comes the fall, and the leaves on the trees start to turn glorious colors. Sometimes there's more rain and fog. Whatever the weather patterns, the mountain just sits. And when fall turns into winter, the mountain is sometimes encased in fog, clouds, storms, freezing rain, snow, ice, blizzards. And through it all, the mountain just sits, being itself. And winter once again gives rise to spring. Flowers bloom again, snow melts again. Night and day, the mountain just sits, being itself. And so can we. As we sit here, you may notice that the mind has its own weather patterns. The body has its own seasons. There are a whole range of sensations that come and go in various parts of the body at different times. And the invitation here is to sit being a mountain, bringing that kind of rootedness and stability and majesty and magnificence in the very act of being, the very act of sitting here outside of time, with the weather patterns of the mind, the seasons of the mind, the changing circumstances of the mind, thoughts and emotions and sensations in the body, all fluxing and changing, sometimes pleasant, sometimes seriously unpleasant, sometimes neutral. And through it all, we can sit. We can put the welcome mat out for it all just the way the mountain experiences all the conditions of its environment. It's still essentially the same mountain, being itself, true to itself, going nowhere and needing nothing. Can we sit in this kind of a way, with this kind of attitude, for whatever time by the clock we've given ourselves for sitting? Can we sit like a mountain? Can we become the mountain? Can we experience the stillness and rootedness and majesty of the mountain sitting here? The stability. In spite of the weather conditions in the mind, whatever they are, not to turn away from them, not to shut ourselves off from them, but quite the contrary, to sort of let them do their work, whether it's snow or freezing rain or difficulties of any kind. That for now, as we sit here in this timeless moment we call now, to simply sit with things exactly as they are. No need to run, no need to hide, no need to change, no need to do. Just letting everything be as it is and settling moment by moment into this new, fresh unfolding of experience, moment by moment, by timeless moment, as we sit here, fully awake. Awareness embracing our sitting mountain the way the sky and space itself embraces the mountain of rock. And in the same way, our awareness is boundless like the sky, like space itself, and it can hold whatever weather patterns emerge in the mind with the same kind of equanimity, with the same kind of open presencing that the sky provides for the mountain. No place to go, nothing to do, no special something to attain. The attainment is already here, in the body, in the mind, in the heart, in your intention, in your sitting posture. In your being. So in the remaining minutes of this sitting, just being the mountain. You can let go of all of the thoughts or images about mountains. The mountain doesn't need any of what I just said, and neither do you. Just being your essential mountain-like adamantine, stable, beautiful, majestic, rooted, grounded, you.